people. And he combined those into the vision that would become Mather High School. He fostered that vision by partnering with the National Park Service. And not just a partner in name, but a partner in action, a partner in community, a partner in development. Now, I was the founding assistant principal of Mather. I've been fortunate enough to be with Mather from the ground floor, and I feel extremely fortunate that I've been entrusted to carry the work of the school forward. The work in honor of Larry, in honor of the staff and students we serve, and in honor of committing to the continued development of our CTE program, because we very much believe in career and technical education. We very much believe in giving students multiple opportunities after high school. We very much believe in the power of hands-on work. And, you know, one thing that drives me is Larry had quite the voice and quite the impact on so many. And I'm just thrilled that I have the team I have. I see some of our CTE teachers here on the screen. I feel so fortunate to be able to lead them now. But it's all because of Larry. It's because of what he taught us, his work ethic. I mean, when I first started working for him, what a perfectionist. I was like, what did I get myself into working with this guy? But what I realized over time was he wanted the best out of everyone all the time, and he pushed for it, and he wouldn't accept anything less, whether it was his staff, whether it was his students, whether it was his friends and family. He was committed to getting the best out of people, and he brought the best out of people. And he left the school in a place where I, as a new principal, with all I have to learn, feel like hey, I might actually be able to do this because of the tools that he provided me. And so what I would ask you all to do, whether you knew Larry or not, is if we could just take 30 seconds to have a moment of silence in his honor and the work that he did that impacted so many in the CTE community, in the DOE and beyond. So 30 seconds, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Reed, I pass it back to you, sir.
All right, thank you so much, Principal Mayor. Thanks for joining us. I see Brendan, Lisa, and a few others from the Mather community. Welcome to you guys. I'm going to turn it over next to our co-chair, Stephanie Burns from Turner Construction. Unfortunately, Tammy Rivera from the New York City District Council of Carpenters, she fell ill earlier today, so she's not going to be joining us. But we do have Stephanie, who's been with this commission for quite some time now. And Stephanie, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gav. Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to send greetings this afternoon on behalf of this being our last commission meeting. And it's been an interesting year. And Gav, I appreciate you putting on that Rocky song, because that's what it felt like, a major fight that we have now seen. We're going to get to round 9 and knock this out the park. We are New York strong. We are DOE strong. And we are all anticipating coming back to the school year next year, even stronger than this year, because we know that we can survive anything after this last year and a half. We hope that the students will have a fulfilled school year. We hope that they will have a safe summer. We hope that kids were able to get their internships in this summer. So we're hoping for a lot of things. And I'm hoping that the teachers here, that you take time over the summer, if you can, to heal yourselves, get well again, mentally, physically, and be ready to come back in this school year in September and knock it out the park. We have a lot of kids that are counting on us. And I know being a part of this commission trade here, that is important, that especially for our kids that are coming into this construction industry, that they rely on us heavily to get them there. So just on behalf of myself and Turner Construction, who's striving to put kids through internships this summer, Thank you so much for participating this year. Thank you for your diligence this year, and thank you for being a part of the commission. Thank you, Gav.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. All right, so for those of you who this may be your first time here, what these commission meetings are about, they are in a sense a virtual town hall meeting where we get together our various career and technical education high schools that offer the skilled trades, the building trades specifically. And just to be clear, CTE is a very broad umbrella word where there are other subjects that students study that are not related to construction. But where this meeting is concerned, we specifically focus on the building trades, carpentry, electrical, plumbing, historic preservation, HVAC, anything having to do with the construction trades. We have this meeting 3 times per school year, and we do various panel discussions. We talk about industry trends. We talk about various things happening where our classrooms and industry can cooperate and collaborate with each other. And as I let a few more folks in, I'm just gonna let you guys know that for this particular meeting, we're not gonna have a formal panel discussion like we normally do in some of the other meetings that we do throughout the year. Instead, Jessica and I, we're gonna present some labor market information to you as it pertains to the construction and sustainability sectors. And once we're done, we would just love for this entire audience to be the panel. So we wanna hear from everyone in attendance. We wanna know what you think about this data that we are presenting to you. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Are there any additional insights that you'd like to share with the group? Are there any questions or comments that you'd like to share with the group? So that's the format that we're gonna take today. And we also have a bunch of announcements as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. But without further ado, I'm gonna share my screen. Just give me a few seconds here. And by the way, this link is in the chat. I'm gonna put it in the chat box a few more times before the day is over. And I have with us our Director of CTE Industry Engagement, none other than Jessica Kemper, and she's going to go through the first number of slides with you. Take it away, Jessica.
All right, thanks so much, Gav, and thanks so much, Principal Mayor, for that awesome tribute to Larry. It was amazing to hear that, so thanks for letting us all know about who he was. It's really important to hear that kind of stuff. So let's jump into the agenda for today. As Gav shared, we're going to walk through this newly developed CTE labor market tool. If you go back at the chat a bit, you will see various links that we're going to be talking about today, but definitely look at the one that says CTE labor market tool. We're going to review some key labor data points from that report that are intended to help you think through how to improve your CTE programs. And then we're also, of course, going to hear from everyone here about the data and additional insights that they have. I do want to say for our school staff that are here that this is probably the first time that you're going to be seeing this tool, and there's a lot to dig into. So consider this your first kind of preview of the tool, and know that moving forward into next academic year, we're going to have more trainings around the specifics of it. So this is your preview of it. So the purpose of this tool is to support our CT staff with aligning their programs to New York City labor market data. Of course, that's sort of like the bottom line of the work that the industry engagement team in particular does. We want to make sure our programs are preparing students for high demand careers that have a living wage. We also feel like there's data in this report that can help CT staff with preparing their students for post-secondary conversations. So we hope that this, in addition to being a great tool for program improvement, that it also can help our CT staff with having those post-secondary conversations. This tool is also intended to be a complement to Career One Stop. We're going to be talking about that website in a little bit more detail moving forward, but we do think that's definitely a credible source for this kind of information. And there may also be some other industry-specific reports too that you could use in addition to this tool. And then lastly, we hope that this tool helps you prepare for the NYCDOE questions that they have in their program reapproval and approval application, as well as the self-study. So that particular question is this one right here. So the question for our school staff members, you may remember this question again. It shows up on NYCDOE documents in the self-study CTS tab. Describe how labor market data has informed the program design and choice of technical assessment. So we hope that this tool helps you think about those particular things and lots of other things about your program. Just want to pause for a moment to give some context for our industry and post-secondary partners. The reason why we are having, it's very clear why we're having this conversation for CTE staff members, but we also want to make sure it's clear to you. So I have a feeling everyone here feels this way already, but just want to make sure that you know that Gav and I and the industry engagement team and other CTE staff members feel very strongly that CTE graduates are your future talent. We think that it's really important to make sure that our programs are aligned with industry trends and standards that matter to you. So we want to hear about that today from you. And we need your expertise and perspectives to deepen our understanding and interpretation of the data. So there'll be some opportunities for you to share your thoughts. We also want to take a moment just to say a few terms that you're going to be hearing about. So NYCD is an acronym that stands for the New York State Education Department, which the New York City Department of Ed reports up to, basically, simply put. You're going to hear about us talking about a program approval process, which is a process that CT programs have to go through to just make sure that their programs are aligned with NYCD policy and that they are also aligned with labor market demands. And then also, in addition to program approvals, all CT programs have a self-study process where they bring together industry partners and post-secondary partners to think about program improvements, to reflect on their program. And both of the program approval and self-study include connections to having programs think about how their program is aligned with labor market demand. So here's a quick preview of the CT labor market tool, if you have it pulled up in front of you, and we'll be going through some specifics in a moment. So on page 1, you'll see data that refers to current and long-term employment trends. On page 2, you're going to see who's working in this field currently. And page 3, you're going to see stuff about employer priorities. Page 4 is intended to be a reflection guide, in particular for our CT programs. Again, this is where you can kind of make the connections between the charts that we have for you with the data and your core program components for your CT program. And then page 5 lists all the resources there. So where does this data come from? So our key partner in developing this tool was the LMIS team, and Jackie Kelly is actually here today. So Jackie, I want to have you take yourself off camera and unmute and introduce yourself to the team here.
Great, thanks so much, Jessica. Hi, everyone. Jacqueline Kelly, Director of LMIS. We're part of the CUNY Graduate Center, focused on labor market data. Really excited to hear your thoughts and insights, how this data aligns with what you're seeing and how it's different. So thanks very much.
Awesome, thanks, Jackie. And Jackie's going to be here till just a little bit before 4. So if you have some specific questions on how the data was pulled and what the analysis looks like, ask that before 4 p.m. And if not, we'll get back to you later on that if we can't answer it on ourselves. So the LMIS team pulled the data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the New York State Department of Labor, US Census, and Burning Glass. And the reason why there's a lot of data that we could have included in these reports. It does not answer every single question that you may have about your program. So we did try to select particular data points that we think are going to be most helpful in making your program more improved. And we, again, mentioned before, we hope that this complements Career One Stop. So Career One Stop is a website that NYCD uses quite a bit, references as a really good data source for CT programs to look at. But it's not always New York City specific. So that's why this tool in particular is all about New York City data with some few exceptions in chart. I think it's 10 through 12. And then we also sourced feedback from various stakeholders. Shout out to Mr. Hudson, who I think is on the call today, who was involved in one of our teacher focus groups. We talked to a bunch of other teachers from other CT verticals about their input, industry partners, post-secondary partners, CT staff members, you name it. So a lot of people weighed in on this. Okay, so here's the deal. There's some limitations to this tool, which you may see, you may already have reflected on. Not every single CT track is addressed in this tool, and we want to be really upfront with that. There are some limitations to this. This tool is useful as an overview of the field, but it does not necessarily drill down into specific pathways. So there are other sources of information and websites that you can look at for more specific pathways. The data is not evergreen. And of course, you know that the impact on COVID is still a little bit up in the air, what's going to happen. So we know that this data will continue to evolve as COVID evolves, and hopefully it comes to an end. And also the tool shows us the trends, but not necessarily the why behind the trends. So other sources you can go to, mentioned this before, Career One Stop, Department of Labor, the Labor of Statistics. So those are other places you can look at to complement this CT labor market tool. For our teachers, we have, and if you go into the chat box, you'll see a link here that mentions tips for how to respond to that labor market question that was featured on a previous slide. So we put some thought into some specific things that we think can help you develop a really strong answer to the labor market questions and the various documents you're going to have to fill out eventually, if not already. And we hope that this tool helps you get to that point. So there's the link in the chat. We'll show you these bullet points here, and also a template response. The idea is not for you to copy and paste the template response into your answer, but just to kind of use it as a benchmark for what a really solid answer to the labor market question would be. And then lastly, just want to take a moment again to just point out on page 4, this particular chart. For our CTE staff members, you're going to notice those 6 core components that you'll see all the time being referenced in NYCDOE documents and in the self-study process. What we've done here is we've tried to connect the dots for you. So for instance, charts 2, 4, 5, 8, and 9, ooh, that font is tiny, can help you think about your program content. So the tool is a PDF, editable PDF that you can actually enter your responses into. And again, you're going to be hearing more about this from our team and from the program quality team as well moving forward. And with that, I'm handing it back to Gav.
Thank you, Jessica. Again, welcome to the latecomers. And I find it so funny when people message me and they're apologizing. I'm like, what am I going to do if you come late? If you're late, you're late. Is that a big deal? But welcome to the latecomers. I may have to turn my camera off because I feel like my shirt is making me dizzy with all of the lines in my shirt. All right, so a lot of this information that Jessica and I are presenting to you today, this is pretty much preaching to the choir in a lot of ways. Hopefully there is some new information that you find surprising or very, very insightful that you may not be aware of before. But once again, what we try to do, and in case these meetings seem a bit redundant at times, but we want to do, we want to make sure that we keep up to date with statistics, with data. We want to make sure that what's happening in industry is being addressed inside of our classroom. So that's why we have these meetings. That's the whole purpose of these commissions. We want to know what's happening in industry. We want to make sure that our students and our teachers are well prepared, well equipped in terms of what they need to be teaching inside the classroom so that they're prepared for these careers within construction. Now, the labor market tool, we emailed this out to everybody. And as usual, after this meeting is over, we are also going to send key takeaway notes as well as meeting links. And we have all notes for this commission and all commission found at bit.ly.com/CTE industry engagement. That link is also in the chat box. All right, first things first, if you look in the labor market tool, and we're not going to go over every single chart in this meeting, but we're just going to go through some of the more relevant ones. Chart 1 shows the types of organizations that are doing the most entry-level hiring in construction. And of course, it may seem very obvious. Of course, the construction industry is the industry hiring construction workers. However, I say this to say that there are other sectors out there that have construction professionals as well. And this is the case for all commissions, where oftentimes when we're teaching about career and technical education to our kids, sometimes we feel as if we are maybe pigeonholing them into just one very specific sector, but it turns out that that skill set that they have can be used in other sectors as well. So there are definitely jobs within construction in the healthcare and social assistance sector, as well as waste management, remediation services, real estate, rental, leasing. I see that we have a few real estate professionals on our Zoom call today as well. And there are also construction professionals within the scientific and technical services sector, the manufacturing sector, finance, insurance, and other sectors as well. So it's not just traditional construction per se. All right, when you look at the pie graph on chart number 3, it shows you the years of experience of people that have been getting hired within this field based on the job ads that have been promulgated within New York City. And what we did was we looked at a half-a-year time frame between October last year to March of this year. And I think it comes as no surprise that there are many opportunities out there. We see about 1/3 of all the job ads, they're willing to hire candidates who have 2 or less years of experience. And about half of the job ads require candidates to have 3 to 5 years of prior experience. Chart 4, this shows, according to LMIS, what the entry level, mid-range, and experienced level salary wages are for construction professionals. Jessica knows I have my own opinions based on these numbers, but I'm very curious to know from others on the call what you think about this data. Does this reflect what you see, what you experience for yourself in the construction industry? For chart 5, this shows the most commonly held educational credential for occupations in this field. And of course, we've been saying it time and time again, this is preaching to the choir, the vast preponderance of jobs within construction, the only requirement is that high school diploma or the high school equivalent. And why this is very, very important to keep stressing is because we live in a world and in a system where the narrative of college is pushed consistently. But we see that time and time again, within the construction trades, within the building trades, you don't need a 4-year degree. You don't even need a 2-year degree in a lot of cases. As a matter of fact, we have a number of CTE teachers within the construction sectors where they applied for the transitional A teaching certification, and they did so by virtue of them having the work experience and not a 4-year degree or a master's degree or higher. So there are definitely opportunities out there for our students who they may not necessarily feel as if college is for them, or they may not want to jump straight into college after they're graduating from high school. So if they want to get into industry, this is the prime industry for them. If you look at chart 6, it shows us the gender and ethnicity distributions for top 3 occupations within the construction sectors in New York City. And there have been so many initiatives out there to have a more diverse workforce when it comes to the trades. And we have all these different direct entry programs. We have construction skills, we have new, we have helmets to hard hats, and we have these other various direct entry programs as well. Bronx International High School is a direct entry provider. And we can see that there's a pretty good representation there for Hispanics within construction laborers, electrician, carpenters. We have about 46% of electricians that are white, 21% for construction laborers, 35% for carpenters. If you look at the population when it comes to the Black electricians, the Black carpenters, the Black laborers, we see that they are statistically decently represented when you think about the overall population of these groups. The glaring thing that is going to stand out to a lot of people, of course, is that we all know it's a very, very male-dominated industry. So we have 97+% of males who are within these fields. And that's why there's so many other initiatives out there. And we have all these partnerships with others to try to get our young women interested in the trades as well. When you look at chart 7, this shows the minimum education levels sought in this field for entry-level workers based on the number of job ads that have been analyzed between October of last year to March of this year. And once again, we see that the overwhelming majority of job ads out there, the employers within this sector, they simply require that high school diploma or vocational training. And this is a chart where across the board, if you've attended my engineering commission meetings or you've attended my automotive commission meetings, we see that Microsoft Office continues to reign supreme when it comes to the #1 software that's used within this industry. Now, I do know that there are a lot of online articles out there where they say that, look, we need to stop using Excel and PlanGrid is a better software, or you have these other alternatives out there. But the majority of construction firms, though, they use Microsoft Office. In many cases, that's the software that's already embedded into the desktops or the laptops or the devices that they're using. And it's something that's been around for a very, very long time. So we have a lot of construction workers, whether you're doing budgeting, construction management, all sorts of different projects and tasks, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, these are the most common transferable skills that many employers are requiring. And of course, we always see in second place communication skills. We want to make sure that our kids are writing and speaking effectively. We want to make sure that they're articulate and try to drill it into them. Make sure that they write those emails properly. Make sure that they answer those questions in your classroom properly. And I've said this in all of my other meetings. I was a teacher and I know the struggle in dealing with students and getting them to make sure that they write proper essays and articulate their thoughts properly. It's a very, very challenging task to teach, but it's something definitely that is here to stay, where no matter what sector you're going in, especially when you're dealing with teammates and clients and other people, you definitely need to have those communication skills. Teamwork and collaboration that also in this sector, as well as other commissions as well. And we see these skills followed by skills related to being detail oriented, having organizational skills, research, problem solving, and so forth. All right, for chart 9, these are the certifications in greatest demand for entry-level workers, and we all know this. Once again, in 2020, 2021, we see that many, many employers out there, they are requiring the driver license. And I've always found this very, very funny and contradictory in a sense where we have a movement to try to limit these single occupancy vehicles. And we have some folks in Manhattan that want to see less and less cars. But let's face it, when you want to get into the trades, employers want to have that driver license. One of the biggest problems that I've encountered as a recruiter, and I've been a recruiter now for about 8 years, the number one issue that I've seen come up with our CTE students is that they don't have that driver license. And unfortunately, where our Perkins funding is concerned, we would love to use our Perkins funding to promote initiatives where we get our kids driver licenses. But that, according to the state, though, that's not the type of thing that they want our students pursuing with that money. However, as much as you can, please encourage your young people, especially the ones that want to get into the trades, encourage them to have a driver license, even if they don't plan to have their own vehicle. Because so many kids, they think, well, I live in New York City, I don't plan to have a car, so I don't need a driver license, right? That's the logic they go by. So please let them know, whether you want to get into the automotive trades or engineering or any of the construction trades, employers are going to require that driver license. And of course, we see that OSHA, no questions asked, for the vast majority of construction jobs, especially here in New York City, employers want to see that OSHA certificate, that OSHA credential. I'm not supposed to say certification. OSHA is very, very particular about that, but that OSHA credential. And of course, that being said, we do know that as of 4 years ago, New York City is also requiring our candidates and our young people to also have the site safety training. So make sure they get that OSHA 10, the OSHA 30, and the site safety training. Followed by these two credentials, we have electrician certification, the CDL license, Class B. That's the commercial driver license. We see that this comes up within our automotive commission as well. And NAPSEP, that's something that we've seen offered by our partners at Solar One, and I believe that they're on the call with us. We're going to hear from them in a few minutes after Jessica and I are finished with this presentation. And there are a few employers out there also that they want candidates to have their first aid and their AED certification as well. All right, so that's pretty much the gist of the presentation. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a moment. And I just wanted to hear from the group, what did you guys think about this data? Are there anything that stands out to you? What do you agree with? Are there any glaring errors that you see that you're like, wait a second, that data, that doesn't represent my industry at all? Anything that you can speak to, I'd love to hear from the audience.
I have a quick question, Gav.
Yep.
You mentioned the driver's license. Is the driver's license just for machinery on job sites? Why are we stressing so hard the driver's license as opposed to just a driver's ID, a state ID?
Okay, good question, Stephanie. Before I answer that, I'm going to open it up to any of our guests, any of our industry folks in the call. Is there a reason why the driver license is very important in this sector?
Hey, good afternoon. This is James Chrisman from Con Ed. We hire a lot of entry-level people too as well. We require them to have driver's licenses. The key is you never know when you're on a construction site, you're going to need to drive a van or a piece of equipment. And especially being a new employee, it's hard to ask somebody who's been there a while to kind of drive you around in the truck.
All right. Yep. Very good.
It's not going to happen. You need to have your driver's license.
From Woodlawn Cemetery. We launched a landscaping training cohort last year. Again, applications are going to be offered in June. And we found that all the landscapers want young people with driver's licenses. You cannot operate even the gators and those kind of things because of insurance reasons. So driver's licenses are crucial for transitioning our young people that go through our program into jobs.
Okay. Can I just throw out a suggestion then? Can we consider possibly looking into some of our CT schools that have a driver's ed course embedded into their school curriculum?
Okay, all right, I'll take that. I'll respond to that in a second, Stephanie. Rachel, you had something to say?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Love. I'm from the Department of Buildings and the Office of Human Resources. We hire a lot of inspectors, and the inspectors come from the trades. And one of the requirements to be interviewed at all is to have a valid driver's license, because you need to drive from one site to another throughout the city. And if you don't have a driver's license, you can't get to your job and you can't perform your job.
Yep, thank you for that, Rachel, and thank you, Susan and James. I totally agree with everything that you guys said. And yes, Stephanie, that's something that we've encountered in dealing with many of our industry partners, where there's a lot of tasks there. And as Anthony is saying, entry-level employees are often used for purchasing materials, and they can drive and part the employer's vehicle when they come to the job site. So yeah, we've been hearing this for many years. In terms of having driver education embedded into our CTE programs, it's a bit tricky, because just before COVID, we actually were doing that. We had over 20 different schools that participated in our driver ed program. So we gave funding to our schools, and we built partnership with local driving schools, and we got the kids to do lessons, do their road tests. But unfortunately, the funding stream that we were doing for that, though, the state has decided that that's not an initiative that they want to see when it comes to CTE. So therefore, we have to figure out other funding streams we can use now to replace that. So we traditionally used to use something known as the Perkins funding, or some of the old timers on the call, they may refer to it as the VITEA funding. So that's a specific type of funding we would use to strengthen our CTE programs. But the state says we can't use the money for driver ed anymore. So we have to figure out some other funding stream for that. I believe that for the summer program, we have a CTE summer enrichment program where driver ed is one of the components that's being offered. I believe at least one of our schools on this call signed up for it. So yeah, Stephanie, we're trying to work out, how we can promote this credential so that more of our kids can obtain it. All right, anyone else? Any other thoughts, questions? Any for our industry folks who are on this call, are there any insights that you'd like to share with our CTE schools in terms of where the industry is heading? We have the city that's reopening. We have a number of different firms who are hiring. Are there any drastic changes that you'd like to inform our schools about, other than the obvious, you need to wear the mask and the social distancing, that kind of stuff? But are there any other insights that you guys would like to share with our schools?
Hey, this is James again from Con Edison.
Yep, go for it.
Time and time again, we lose new prospects more than you would believe because of social media issues. Please get it out to the kids to make sure they're careful what they put online, because that stays there forever. And when we do a background check, all that pulls up. And time again, folks don't know why they weren't hired. And that's one of the reasons. So please get that out there, because it's a real challenge for us.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. All right.
Anyone go?
Yes. Yeah, go for it, Robert.
Well, thank you for that comment. We try to get that point across to our students all the time. Thank you, Con Ed. I don't know, this is more of a comment, like kind of a rhetorical type comment, if there's such a thing. It just seems like we're doing so much good work here in terms of focusing on our students to be prepared to get a job at whatever point. But there's still this whole, college. And you know, so many kids are still going to college and, you know, I don't want to state degrees to, you know, the types of degrees they're getting, but they come out, they have tons of debt and they wind up working in Best Buy. So I just think it's a good thing that we're doing, but there's still this huge, you know, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but there's this huge thing out there, which is, you know, it's not right. And I hope we turn this thing around.
I just, hey guys, how you doing? Can I add something to it?
Yeah, go for it.
So we've been seeing that a lot too. My name is Gus with the Finishing Trades Apprenticeship Program in New York, painters, tapers, glaziers, bridge painters. So we were seeing that a lot as well. And what we do, and kind of to, you know, it's a positive for the worker, for the students, and kind of satisfies the parents too, is once they graduate an apprentice program, and it's not just us, I know there's other throughout New York City that have this, but you know, once they graduate the apprentice program, they get credits towards an associate's degree. So then they would take, we would set them up to take a couple more classes, and they would actually achieve their associate's degree. And this is while they're working, you know, learning a trade, gaining that skill, they're getting paid because they're working, you know, learning while they're earning during the apprenticeship. And then once they complete those, they get credits towards an associate's degree. So the parents are happy they're going to get college. They're going to get college without debt. And, you know, they're going to get a skilled trade as well. So, you know, it's something to think of. It's something to kind of push out there as well. People, sometimes they don't know what they want. And this is a good way to get there or stay in what they want to do. And, you know, what they're, maybe they'll stay in the trades. They're a journeyman, they'll make good money, good benefits, and maybe they'll stay. And then just one other little thing, you know, that those ads that come up, you know, when they say, when the labor statistics, with unionized labor, I know a lot of them, really isn't a lot of ads because, you know, thousands and, you know, tens of thousands of apprentices and journey workers, they're requested through the hall, so they're not even put out towards ads. So, you know, the job market may be a lot hotter and tighter than it looks on that, you know, on the statistics because of those reasons. Because we're scrambling to get apprentices right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely, Gus. I agree with you. And that's something that we brought up in examining the LMIS data as well. And while I have you, Gus, can you tell us what is the name of the associate degree? What subject would the associate degree be in that you refer to?
They would get an associate's in labor studies.
Okay, labor studies. And
Yep.
I believe local 3, I believe you guys do the same thing too, right? Right, Jim?
Yeah, that's right, Gav. Hello, everybody. Our apprentices actually graduate with an associate's degree. They can't get out of our program without it. Anybody that comes to us with an associate's degree goes into the bachelor's program and leaves the program with a bachelor's degree. The problem I see now with our apprentices, and we got roughly 1,400 apprentices active, is we're getting a lot of them coming to us with bachelor's degrees already that tried college, didn't like college, and now 4 and 5 years later, they're finally coming into the trades because that's the way they're being pushed in the high schools and by their parents.
Yeah.
So we need to reach them before high school. I started speaking with kids in junior high school, believe it or not, and opening their eyes that there is an alternate to what everybody's telling them. And I get a lot of parents that get mad at me because I tell them they don't have to go to college to have a good job. I would have never went to college if it wasn't for Local 3. School was not my thing. So I went to vocational school. Gav, you know, I went to William E. Grady Vocational Technical High School, and it led to a great career. So we need to reach the kids and let them know they have an alternate path. And like Gus was saying, the unionized building trades are sending them to college. So we want them educated. But I know with us, they're not paying a penny for their college degree. So it's a viable path for them.
Yep. Thanks for that. Anyone else?
Jimmy, thank you for the shout out for William E. Grady. Todd Gerber, assistant principal of William E. Grady, is here, and welcome that statement. Thank you very much. And I'd like to play a bigger role in getting my students construction jobs after high school as well. I'm a brand new CTE assistant principal, so hopefully we can chat soon.
I'd like that, Todd. I'd love to come back and visit Grady. I speak at a lot of the schools.
All right, fantastic. Anyone else? And any of our other guests or partners would like to share any of their insights into the industry? Or any comments or questions from our schools? Okay, all right. You guys seem very, very low energy today. I'm not used to this group being like this. Maybe it's because it's so late in the school year. But
Okay, I'll add if you want.
yeah, go for it, Alita.
Okay, so one of the things I'm concerned about is the sort of the idea that marijuana is not a drug, and we do drug screening, and absolutely we consider marijuana a drug, and we have consistently not hired individuals because they're tested positive for marijuana, and I think that's something that that we have to emphasize, that if you decide to work in safety sensitive positions, that's just not an option,
Yeah.
And I don't know how to get that across,
That's a problem we've faced for a while now, and it's one of those situations where what the government says and what industry says they're just not in alignment. What we've been trying to do at the school level is that, in addition to offering OSHA, we've been trying to get more of our CTE construction programs to apply for approval from the Department of Buildings, so that we can also embed that 10-hour site safety training within our classrooms as well, so that our kids can understand that you just cannot overstate the importance of being aware of the dangers of drug and alcohol. So that's something that we've been trying to work on for the past couple of years now. But I agree with you, Alita. That's a problem that's, as a glorified secretary in DOE, I'm not sure I can solve that, but we're definitely making strides to teach site safety training to our kids. All right, anyone else?
Now, I'm curious, do the other industry partners, have they found an uptick in finding, more positive, they're finding, we used to call them, they showed up dirty, do the other industry partners find the same thing as well? Guys, gals?
Hey, this is James over at Con Ed again. We found about the same amount of people because in New York City laws, we don't test for marijuana coming in.
Okay.
But if they're involved in any type of accident, immediately they're going to be sent to a urinalysis. If they pop dirty, they're finished. We've had people lose great paying jobs within a couple months, which is a shame.
So James, do you have a policy where as soon as that test comes back positive, they're immediately fired, or do you give the candidates a couple of chances? How does that work?
It depends on the circumstances, but if they're still on probation and they're a fresh employee, they're fired.
Okay. All right.
Because look, we fall under the Department of Energy. We have different rules and regulations, and we can't have people on any type of stimulants working on equipment. Can't have it.
Right. Absolutely. And the vast majority of us on this call already know this. The construction sector is particularly unique because this is an extremely dangerous sector, and it's not like just having a regular office job or some of these other white collar professions where you're handling very expensive hazardous equipment. So not only do we have millions of dollars of property that could be damaged, but we have livelihoods. We have people's lives that can be not just injured, but killed as well. So I can say that I personally understand that policy against the drug use on the job. All right.
Construction jobs are, construction jobs in New York City are exempted from that. Whatever the marijuana laws are, they're exempted. So if you can't test for marijuana, and if you do come up positive, we can't take you. So I know in other areas they probably don't, but in construction in New York City, it was actually listed that that's one of the exemptions to the legalizing. So that's why we test for that. So, and I know the iron workers, I know a lot of other trades too. So it's there, and it's it's important they know that, so that they're not they don't come in and then we do it right during orientation. So we can't even take it in.
Can I add something or say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Back to this college, everything college versus getting a real job, a good paying job. Years ago, they were trade schools, and I'm talking maybe 30, 40, that was like a full option for students when they went to high school, like an entire trade school, whether it were barber or steno or stuff like that. So, you know, all these great points about drugs and ruining your life with media, that's kind of stuff that's, you know, we kind of, oh yeah, let's teach that. It's not really built into the curriculum the way it should be. So, I mean, if I had a total wish list of, on a wish list, like if we can at some point, again, this is a wish list, but have like a curriculum, like a formal program, I think it would be a big fight, but that, you know, college is not for everybody. Here you go. And, you know, here are the social media components. Here are the drug components. You know, do this, don't do that. I mean, it goes on the wish list because I think that, you know, it's a battle that's fought at the national level. Like everything you hear is college, college, college. It's not just New York City, it's New York State, it's everything. So anyway, that's my input.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. So
Hi, Kim.
Yeah, Kim.
Hi. No, I just want to add up on that with Robert, you know, about college. Yeah. So we at the school, technical school in Waterbury, and we sponsoring, you know, for the NCCR, which is a nicer that you guys call in New York. And we seeing that, you know, college, you know, all the time. And I do know that NCCR have a huge initiative that try to targeting and changing perspective of people, especially young people with perspective in construction, and it's called Build Your Future. Yeah, so I can put a link into that, but yeah, it's as Robert mentioned, you know, national, and I think we just have to consistently working on it every day. And hopefully, you know, we will get there eventually.
Yeah, thanks, Kim, and it's good to see you again. You know, one of the problems is that when it comes to CTE construction programs, we are such a relatively small segment of the overall DOE system. Because when you think about it, we have about 1,800 schools within New York City. When it comes to the construction trades, and by the way, Rob, we do have those trade schools. I mean, it's not that the kids are doing that specific trade throughout the entire day, but in terms of shop class, doing electrical, doing plumbing, doing carpentry, doing HVAC, we do have those. In fact, we have 20 high schools, which they have dedicated programs to doing that. But the problem is there's just so many different competing priorities. And when it comes to CTE, when we're talking really about 20 schools or so here in a system that has 1,800, oftentimes when it comes to the skilled trades, we get a bit marginalized, you know. And I mean, at some point in my tenure here in DOE, I would love for us to have one of the senior leadership within Department of Education to hear some of these things that we're saying, because and I agree with everybody here. You know, oftentimes I say it over and over, we're preaching to the choir here. But even within the CTE world, we're just one of so many different departments in Central, and we always have to combat against these other various competing priorities as well. You know, so yeah, we're all in this battle together, but we do have, I would say, if I'm not mistaken, at least 3,000 kids throughout the city who are doing the construction trades. They are getting those credentials. So CTE is not dead, the trades are not dead. And a lot of people are realizing that you can avoid the exorbitant debt that comes with pursuing some of these liberal arts degrees if you pursue one of these trades. And a lot of people don't even realize that, as Gus is saying, that Gus, you know, the Finishing Trades Institute, they're having a hard time finding a lot of qualified people who want to do this job. All of these various programs, all of these various training programs that are offered by the unions, you don't need to have necessarily a CTE construction background. And I think this is not obvious knowledge to a lot of our schools. A lot of kids think, hey, I didn't study construction in high school, therefore I can't get into local 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. No, but the thing is, these recruitments, no, if you graduate, you're 18 or older, you can pass those tests that they have, you can qualify. So and I do know that we have a number of schools where you may be a CTE school, but you're not necessarily offering one of these skilled trades per se. Your kids are still eligible, all right? Have them visit the Department of Labor's website, have them take a look at the various recruitment events happening. They can sign up for those. They can sign up for non-traditional employment for women. They can sign up for construction skills. All right. So there are programs out there where you are eligible to apply. You know, you don't necessarily need a construction background at the high school level in order to be a candidate. All right. So I think a lot of kids aren't aware of this. A lot of teachers may not necessarily be aware of this either. And please look in the chat box. We have some very pertinent information being shared there. All right. I'm going to share my screen for a second. I'm going to turn it over to announcements. Just give me a second. Let me pull up my announcement. So there's a few things. All right, so we have a number of guests with us. One of my colleagues shared with me that a scholarship has been initiated, and it's especially for our kids who want to pursue the skilled trades. So I'm very happy to welcome Alvin Townley from the Skills Point Foundation. They made the news. If you just Google him or Google his organization, they made the news in the past couple of weeks. So he's a very, very honored guest today. And Alvin, thank you so much for accepting our offer to be here today. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about your organization.
Well, sure, Gav. I appreciate you reaching out, and it was great to get your message. I'm glad to be here with everybody. In addition to me, we also have Laura Petrucci joining us from the great state of Nevada down here. And Laura is actually the founder of the Skill Point Foundation. So she and I can share a little bit about the foundation, as well as our sister organization, skillpoint.com, which I think will offer a lot of resources for everyone on this call, and also young people coming through the system who are looking for how to engage and how to find opportunities in the skilled professions, which, you know, as everyone here understands, is such a terrific path for so many people that can lead to, you know, entrepreneurship and, you know, wealth, and just an ability for people to thrive in a way that's comfortable for them. So we've been excited to be part of this space. Lauren, do you want to add anything before I share one or two slides?
First of all, just want to thank everyone for having us today. We're very, very excited about our common purpose, and I'm sure I'll be color commentating as Alvin goes on here.
Laura is very colorful. I'm glad to have her with me here. So let's see if Gav has generously given me the power to share my screen. So let me do that here with everybody.
You should be able to share your screen.
Everybody see it?
Yeah, we see it.
All right. So we are the Skill Point Foundation, and our mission is to provide scholarships for skills. So we are trying to get as many people as possible into skills training programs across a host of industries, which I'll explain in a second, so they can go on and realize their
Alvin, I'm
aspirations.
sorry to interrupt you, but we're
Sure.
seeing like a split. I'm seeing a split screen that shows your next slide as well. I don't know why that's happening. Sorry, everybody. Just kind of a strange.
Well, let's see. Let's see how I can fix that. Is everybody seeing that?
Well, I mean, we can see your screen, but we're seeing your presenter's version of it. But I mean, we can still make out what it says though, so it's not that problematic.
Let me see if I can flip this real quickly. Here we go. Boom. Let's see.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Here
wait.
we go.
All right. So go to view and then go to
Well, what are y'all seeing now?
we see the slideshow. All right, we see your PowerPoint window. So you can go to slideshow and go into presentation mode. If you go to the top of the screen where it says slideshow.
View a slideshow, yeah.
Yeah, click on slideshow.
It's right in the middle. Go up a little bit.
You might be able to control his screen, by the way.
No.
Where am I going here?
Yeah, slideshow. Click on slideshow. Yeah.
Here?
Right next to your cursor.
I don't see slideshow. Oh, here. I'm sorry. I was looking at something different. Right, there we go.
Yeah, and then from current slide all the way to the left. Yep.
Okay.
You clicked on it?
That's so strange.
How about from the beginning?
From beginning.
From beginning.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll tell you what, we're just going to soldier on through it without that. Is that okay?
All right.
I'm not sure what happened. It usually works just fine. So
Strange.
that's strange.
Go ahead, Alvin.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm trying to at least get back to presenter view here for you guys. Anyway, the group that started Skill Point Foundation and skillpoint.com did a lot of research, and these are facts that everyone on this call probably understands and probably knows very well. There is a increasing need for professional skills. People are not getting the value they want out of college. People can't always access college, and college isn't right for everybody in the first place. And there's a tremendous need for reskilling and upskilling and hiring in America right now. And in particular, we realize that there are about 8 industries that are going to be in dire need of skills over the next decade. And in those industries, we've identified about 70 job types that are high demand and well-paying jobs that can be paths where people can thrive and really achieve their aspirations. And again, be set up for, you know, a good decade at least of good employment. And certainly you were talking about the construction trades, and those are a key element of that. And so that was the genesis for skillpoint.com, which is essentially a social impact enterprise that brings together employers and training programs and individuals seeking skills. And as you can see from the slide, I hope you can see from the slide, we have a tremendous number of schools and employers and job seekers engaged and that need these services. And it's skillpoint.com is a very fast growing platform. You know, the Home Depot and Cummins and NetJets were among our founding partners for when we launched. We only launched here this spring officially. So it's brand new, but our traffic is growing rapidly. And Laura, you may be up to date on the most recent numbers of jobs and training programs too.
Yeah, so just there are, especially for the folks on this call, there are a few things that are very important to know. First of all, on the SkillPoint platform, there is a tremendous amount of career information for young people who are your students or anyone else you may know who wants to upskill or reskill. There's information about what it's like to have different career paths in the trades. Construction trades have a huge presence on the site. There are aptitude tests that students can take to see which of these skilled professions might be best for them. There's just an enormous amount of just very valuable information. So please share this with your trades teachers, with your counselors, and with your students, because it's a treasure trove. Secondly, there's about 57,000 different training and apprenticeship programs on the site, and it's growing all the time. That covers the construction trades as well as manufacturing, energy, and the other occupations that Alvin mentioned just a minute ago. And right now there are more than 350,000 job listings on the site in those various occupations. So it's really a soup to nuts destination for people in the trades. And we're very excited that the jobs that are listed, and this is very relevant for your students, the jobs that are listed on the site are ones that were selected because they are proven to have a long-term projected demand. There's a scarcity of people in these occupations for 10 years or more. They're very good paying, and it's a very high return on investment for the individual or student who chooses to train in that occupation. Every occupation on the site does not require a 4-year degree. Some of them require, brief certificate programs. Others require maybe more credentials from like a community college. Many of them are stackable on top of each other. But that's how these jobs were selected to be on the site, and there are no bad jobs on this site. It's really quite exciting. And I personally, without going into a lot of detail, I'm a management consultant, but I agreed to chair the SkillPoint Foundation because I know through our clients at Winthrop Group how badly so many corporations need these skills. I see it every day. And I've also been on the I Have a Dream board, you know, and they're actually based in New York. And I've seen how students come, you know, if we get them through high school, you know, not everybody is designed to go to four-year school, and it's just not necessarily the right thing for everybody. And so we embrace the trades as a really wonderful path where people can thrive. And so that's sort of the genesis. And I guess I would just add, just for some interest on this front, the founders of SkillPoint were, and I'll go back to the scholarship in the second, Alvin, but just to give one more little flavor, the founders of SkillPoint were two executives. One was a senior executive with NASCAR, and one was a senior executive at Cox Automotive, which owns Auto Trader and Kelley Blue Book. And they could see firsthand, not only in their own businesses, but in their customers' businesses and their vendors' businesses, how needed skilled trades are. And that's the genesis of SkillPoint. So back to you, Alvin.
And so, you know, skillpoint.com, go check it out, take a look at it. It's a wonderful resource. And it's available to you guys at a very discounted rate. Laura, remind me what the rate is per month.
Last time I heard, it's free for anybody to go on.
Free, that's right,
Free
free.
is a good price.
You cannot beat the price. So really, it's you know, it is a social impact enterprise, and so you know, we want people that are looking for jobs, you know, to be able to go on and access all these resources for free. And so we freely give it to you to use if it's helpful to you or to students you work with or anyone else.
And there's financial assistance information on it as well. And back to Alvin to talk a little bit about that.
There is financial assistance information, and right now the foremost part of that is the SkillPoint Foundation. We're a separate 501c3, and we have a mission, as you see right there, providing scholarships for skills training to people of all backgrounds. So you know, we are focused on trying to lift everybody's boat here, but also making sure that those boats for lifting are in channels that are going to be high demand, right? So going back to those 70 job types, that's where we're looking to focus our giving. And we have a monthly scholarship program where we award scholarships on a monthly basis. And we started awarding scholarships just in January of this year. And there are $1,000 awards that we're giving out. So right now we're giving out $3,000 a month to 3 recipients. And here are just some quick stories. You know, we've given awards to people across the country. You know, from literally from Maine to Washington State. So it's a national applicant pool. We would welcome as many people from New York as possible. And as we get going and grow and get more money and more financing, you know, we're certainly keep in touch with your group and the Department of Education there to see how we can partner and make sure we're giving good pathways and options to your students. And you can find out more at skillpointfoundation.org. And our most recent announcement, this is about 2 weeks old, and this is how we came to your attention. We just announced a major partnership with the Home Depot Foundation. And the Home Depot Foundation, y'all may know, has a Path to Pro program that is in a number of high schools. Before our call, I tried to find out if they have programs in New York City. Do you know if they do? Anybody?
You mean Home Depot?
Do they have the Path to Pro program in any of your high schools?
I don't believe so. I could be wrong, but I've not heard of it until a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, we'll work on that. But anyway, it's a great program. You know, they've committed $50 million to developing the skill trades, and this is a piece of that. This is for this particular scholarship is for individuals looking to be carpenters or plumbers or electricians or construction managers or HVAC technicians. And so this first year, we're going to look at giving 125 scholarships, $2,000 a piece for individuals pursuing construction trades. And they can go anywhere. And all of our scholarships, you know, are agnostic in terms of where people go, as long as it's an accredited program. So someone can go attend, you know, a certificate program in the Bronx. They can continue, you know, attend a community college in Queens or wherever they happen to be. And you know, we will actually send the money and the funding to the institution. So the individuals never get the money. which just makes it a little safer from a, just a legal standpoint. But we see this Home Depot program growing significantly, and we're going to have other co-branded scholarships. So, for example, we could have a skill point, or rather a Ford Motor Company skill point scholarship for people interested in auto maintenance, for example. And so we'll be rolling those out over the coming months and coming years. And we want to keep in touch with you guys, let you know what we're doing, so you can channel people towards these sources of financial aid. And Laura, do you have anything to add here?
Well, I guess I would add that we're really delighted to have the opportunity to share the scholarship and what we're doing with the Skill Point Foundation with you. And we would just invite anyone on this call, if they'd like to get on our mailing list, and get future announcements of scholarships, or have any interest in, working with us in any way, to please be in touch with us. Maybe if you'd like us to share some of this with you, maybe Gavaskar, you'd be willing to, help us get this out to everyone. But we would be extremely happy to continue the dialogue with everyone on the call, and in both collectively and individually, because we're off to the races and we're super excited about what we're doing.
All right, excellent. Listen, I can't express how much appreciation I have. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Alvin. But you guys nearly gave me a heart attack for a second when you mentioned the discounted rate, because I'm like, oh no, I'm not supposed to promote any paid services.
For you, it's free.
I'm just keeping you on your toes. I'm just keeping you on your toes.
But listen, I'm very humbled that you guys took the time out to join our meeting today. Thank you. And to our Department of Education schools, please visit the Skill Point website. Please have your kids apply to the scholarship opportunity. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
In the messaging, I'll send the web links here, so you guys will have them.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
next up, we're gonna hear from Sam Sabin from Higher Blue. Sam, are you still with us?
I am. Thank you so much for having us. Super excited to be here and share a little more information about Higher Blue. Do you mind if I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. Can you all see my screen? All right.
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, I'm Sam. I'm a co-founder of a startup. We're from New York, by people made in New York, and we're tailored towards the trade, so construction and manufacturing. We are a startup. We're an early stage startup. We started about a year ago in early May, and essentially we came out of Columbia University Startup Accelerator, and we're actually about to start in their Columbia Startup Lab. So we're New York based, and we love to be a part of this community, continue the conversation, and really truly enable your students and see how we can help them get the jobs that they want, and enable them. So what is Higher Blue? We're a mobile-based and web application for students that makes training and hiring in skilled trade industries efficient and accessible. I think one of the things that we're truly trying to engage students with is enabling them to be able to have access to these opportunities in a very efficient and accessible manner. So we haven't, right now, a lot of the programs that we've seen have been slightly inflexible, and students are, a lot of the students who are coming out of high schools don't know exactly what they want to do. So what we're trying to do is, provide some flexibility if there's certain certifications that they need that they weren't able to get, or some type of opportunity that they saw but they don't know how to access. We want to enable them to have access to that. So our slogan is hiring doesn't really have to be complex in the skilled trades. My family organization, we hire tons of people in the skilled trades, and one of the impetuses for our company was to help people get into trades, not only with us but across the board. So we've really tailored this based on focus groups with students, focus groups with other manufacturing companies, with other construction companies. And we really tried to make it truly tailored to these stakeholders. So we offer templated resumes, templated job postings. We're offering quality jobs, so we go through majority of our jobs, and we do personal job matching. So all of the job placements and resumes are easily matched due to our templated resumes because it creates this data structure that's easy to match. We also have mapping of commute time. So, if you're a student, you can actually see, how far your commute would be based on different transportation types. I know one of the things we talked about today was about, having a driver's license. So, obviously that's extremely important, and that's something that you can find in our job postings, as well as understand what the commute would look like by car. And this is more so how we can kind of engage industry and the students. So, we want to host career fairs, virtual events, learning webinars, training webinars. We have interview scheduling, event building, and we've completely built this focused on, construction and trade. So this is all based off of conversations that we've had. Here's kind of like our differentiator between, the traditional platforms out there. We are truly trying to create more meaningful and deep connections by providing a great career resource tool. And I'll pass it on to Tucker to talk a little bit more about training.
Awesome. So my name is Tucker. I am the CEO of HireBlue, co-founder alongside Sam. And we realize that a lot of students just want to dip their toes in the water before they commit to a longer apprenticeship or a longer training program, even going to trade school. So what we're doing right now to promote HireBlue as we grow, we're providing free online training through CareerSafe. So there's employability training and then OSHA 10 and the OSHA 30 training that your students can take by connecting with us. And so basically employability training is just the soft skills that will help students be more successful in their career search. That includes interviews, communication. So if you could go to the next slide. Time management and teamwork are the main four that we want to focus on. The employability training also does include some life skills though, like personal finance. I know that's not skilled trades related, but that's just as important to having a successful career out of high school, college, etc. Next slide. And then, yeah, OSHA, I think we've already talked about this, so I don't want to beat a dead horse, but OSHA 30 and OSHA 10 training, those are the top hiring considerations besides a driver's license that employers are looking for. So if your students are interested in free OSHA training, feel free to reach out to us. And that's it, really. I think that, I think that we feel there is a really robust CTE community in New York, and this is our first meeting, and seeing you all here makes us really excited about that, and we really resonate with the mission. I think the one thing that really can bring this community together, though, is technology, and that's why we're here. We have, some of the best engineers on our team, and we're trying to build a solution that can connect everyone and really, really hit home the idea of building out the next generation of skilled tradespeople. So yeah, thank you so much. Our contact info is at the bottom, and feel free to reach out.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Tucker, for joining us. Very glad that we had this opportunity to have you present during this commission meeting. I know we've been talking a few times leading up to today. Feel free to drop your contact info into the chat box so that our schools can keep in touch with you guys. I just wanted to address something very quickly. So please, I just can't emphasize this enough. On the Department of Labor's website, you have a number of different openings within the unions. And Gus, I see that you've been dropping some information. Before this meeting is over, I'd really like you to expound on some of the information that you've been sharing with us. I think a lot of our CTE teachers tend to just rely only on a couple of these direct entry programs only, but those are not the only ways to get into the unions. And also, a lot of kids, because they don't get into the unions the first shot, they give up for the rest of their life. This is something that takes maybe repeated attempts, all right? And I think a lot of young people get discouraged because they may not enroll in a certain program. Maybe they don't get into construction skills or new in their 12th grade year, and they think, okay, that's it, and they give up. Please have them continuously check the Department of Labor website. We also have Building Works. We also have Pathways to Apprenticeships. There are other programs out there as well. You have the back door entry, you have the front door entry. There are various different ways to get into the union. There are some of you on this call, your school is a direct entry provider and you guys aren't sending kids. So I have to push back a little here whenever I hear schools say that there aren't enough opportunities. I've sent out quite a few emails. I've been doing this job within Central for 5 years now. I distinctly remember a lot of times I send out emails begging for candidates and I don't get them. So kids, maybe we need to do a better job of promoting these opportunities more, but keep in mind, when the unions have openings, they don't care about the DOE schedule. They have openings when the needs are there. So sometimes kids are only looking for opportunities in May or June, when in real life, it doesn't work like that. That opportunity may come up in September, October, November, December. It can come up any time in the year. We had various other unions present in our commission meetings before. I had the insulators, the heat and frost insulators present. They had an opening at the time. How many applicants do you think they got from our schools? All right, so let's not say that these opportunities aren't there. The opportunities are there, but whether or not folks are responding to them or sharing them, or whether or not our kids are seeing the opportunities right in front of them and doing their part to apply, that's a separate issue, but the opportunities are there. But if you have any questions about this, just feel free to reach out to me directly. All right, all of that being said, Genevieve, are you still with us? Because I wanted to give you some airtime. Welcome, Genevieve, from Tools and Tiaras. As you all may or may not know, Tools and Tiaras, this organization is a member of our commission, founded by Judalyn. She was actually on the Drew Barrymore show a few nights ago. I saw it on YouTube. Genevieve, welcome to our meeting, and tell us more about yourself. Tell us about Tools and Tiaras and what you got going on.
Sure. Thank you, Gav, for having me. Thanks, everyone. My name is Genevieve Aplon. I am the MVP of Tools and Tiaras. It's the manager of manager of operations, vision, and purpose. Tools and Tiaras was founded in 2019 by Judalyn Cassidy, pictured here, and who is a plumber by trade. So what in essence we do, we teach girls as young as 6 through 17 hands-on skills projects for construction trades. So whether it's HVAC, automotive, electrical, coding, and in addition to the hands-on programs that we have, we also offer our tools program, which means total ownership of life skills. And under our tools program, we teach them financial literacy, healthy living and cooking, yoga, mindfulness, meditation. So today, Gav gave me the opportunity to present to you our summer camp. So our summer camp in person will be in Manhattan from July 12th through the 16th. Here is the flyer. I'm sorry I didn't share the screen. I didn't know I had the opportunity to share the screen, but we have a summer camp. So if you have anyone who is interested in attending camp, this year, the camp will be epic. We will have a field trip to Mercedes-Benz where the girls will actually have the opportunity to work on an actual engine. We'll learn about electrical trades, mechanical, etc. I'm sorry, just bear with me, I'm a little nervous. Here is the QR code. So if anyone wants to take a snapshot of the QR code, this will take you directly to the link for our summer camp. I will also post it in the chat. So yes, so that's Tools and Tiaras in a nutshell. So it is important, and I'm happy to be here because I don't necessarily have a trades background, but I do understand the importance of the trades and the skills trades. And we are determined to break that 3% of skills trades and women in the trades. And that number has remained the same since the 1970s. So our job is to get as many young ladies and girls interested in the trades, have them understand that it is a viable career option. They can actually make money through the skills trades. And I'm looking forward to being part of this commission in the future. So thank you for having me, and I'll pass it back to you, Gav. Thanks.
Thank you. And by the way, that flyer that you held up, I've never seen somebody print out a QR code before. That's the first time I've ever seen that. But that flyer that Genevieve showed us is actually in the link that I just put in the chat box. So if you go to bit.ly.com/CTE industry engagement, that is our comprehensive folder. Every meeting, every slide, everything that you need, it's right there. Tools and Tiaras, their summer camp info is within that link. Just make sure you click on construction and you click on today's date. Everything is there. Next up, we have Sarah Pigeon. Sarah, hopefully I didn't lose you. Are you still with us? Sarah Pigeon.
Yeah, I'm here.
Wonderful partner at Solar One. Thank you for joining. Take it away.
Hi guys, I'll try and keep it fast. I know it's 4:30. So I'm here because some of you may know that Solar One, we are partnered with the New York City Department of Education Office of Sustainability and CTE team to provide solar installation training connected to solar installations on schools. We're really excited about how the program's going so far this year. I see some of our partners here from HSET, and I see Mr. Hudson here from Boys and Girls. We are providing some training in NABCEP to some students, and actually I think we are working to get a couple students installing solar on school buildings this summer for internships. But today I want to tell you about a short notice, last minute opportunity. So we are hosting the third Solar and Clean Energy Career Expo on Tuesday, and we have more availability in the expo than we thought. So we want to open it up to any interested CTE schools. So I'm going to quickly share screen just to show you this platform. We are using, this is a virtual career expo, and we're using a platform called Hopin. It's browser-based. The students will have to quickly make a quick login for themselves and register for the event, but they don't need to download anything onto their computer. It's not an app, it's all browser-based. The event is Tuesday, June 2nd. That's this upcoming Tuesday, sorry, Tuesday, June 1st, from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. And we will be joined by 16 different clean energy companies who will be meeting in rotations with the students to talk about different career pathway and employment opportunities at their companies. We also have Charles Callaway from We Act for Environmental Justice as our keynote speaker at 10 a.m. And he's going to be talking about SUNS, which is a really cool worker-owned solar cooperative that was started by We Act. And they also have some upcoming job opportunities this summer. So if you think you have any students that would be interested in coming to this event, it's 2 hours, it's browser-based. It should be a very fun event, and I hope that you all can join us. You can just either give me your email in the chat. Yes, it's June 2nd. Thank you, Mr. Cintron. Please give me your email in the chat. You can either private message it to me or put it in the chat, and I will set you up with Karen and Bruno and Gio, who are the ones actually organizing this event. And yeah, we just need at least one educator, and you can bring one class or multiple classes of students. Again, it's June 2nd from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. And this is a picture I came across, me and Sarah, when we were at Urban Assembly School for Green Careers. That was when we were actually doing these meetings in person. We had a jam.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, please get in touch with Sarah for any of our schools that are interested. And we see that we have interest already, Sarah. And you also have a fan club here. I'm getting some texts about some of the good work you've done. All right, thanks, Sarah. Solo One, thank you.
Yes, please bring your students next week. It'll be really cool. We have awesome employers coming.
Excellent. All right, thanks, Sarah. All right, Gus, are you still there? Gus, can you share with us some of the opportunities that our young people can apply for?
Yeah, so currently we have a bridge painter, structural steel and bridge painter apprenticeship open. We started it on May 20th. We actually didn't have a lot of people apply. Usually we hit about 700 people in one day. This time we're still in the, I think, high 200s. So we're open tomorrow until 1:30, and then we're open probably until only June 2nd. So from 8 to 3, they could come to the training center in Astoria and sign up. That's for the bridge painter apprenticeship. After that, we do have one coming up for the commercial painter, decorator, paper hanger in August. I don't have an exact date yet, but I think I put in the email in the chat. They could email info@ftiny.org. They can go on New York State DOL apprenticeship website, and we should have a date by the end of June. So I know school's probably going to be over, but.
Okay, so Gus, should the kids camp outside of your office tonight in order to get the application?
No, everyone usually camps out for our recruitments. I just tell everyone show up the day of recruitment, and you'll get a card. So that's what we usually do. Now it's when it's past the first day, it's usually it's as many cards up to 500 or 10 business days. But usually after the first day, we just take anyone that comes in the first day.
Okay. Would it be okay if the candidate doesn't already have their high school diploma, since graduation isn't until another month? Is that problematic?
Well, you know what we do, because we work a lot with Queens Vocational, and they were down the block from us, or pretty close. So we tell them, look, just like you were saying earlier, sometimes it doesn't work with the school schedule. We have a recruitment certain times a year. They could send the high school student could come over, apply, give us a heads up that they're not going to have the diploma yet. They're going to graduate. When they get called back for interviews, you could tell them, they could tell whoever's calling them, or they could write back the letter that they won't have their high school diploma until June of whatever. But as long as they have their paperwork in there, we could always hold that, because for us, we do it every 2 years. So those cards are held until we go through them. So we just keep doing the random pick. So if they have the card in there, and even if they don't graduate, we could hold that until June, July, whenever we do another call up with those same cards.
Okay, great. All right. Any of our teachers have any questions? Any of our schools have any questions about this? Please don't say you didn't know about this opportunity, because what's going to happen is I'm going to get the emails after Gus is done recruiting. Hey, Gav, how come you didn't tell me about this? So please, any questions? He's right here. Ask now. Matthew Pierce, I see that you've been dropping some stuff. Do you have any announcements you want to verbally share? If you're still around, Matt? No? All right.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, we hear you, we see you.
Hi, wonderful to see you, and hi to everyone. I was just sharing a link that I've shared before with this group that NASA does have opportunities for high school students ages 16 and above. During the fall, spring, and summer. Our current summer opportunities are closed, but we do have opportunities for high school students starting in the fall. And we are developing part-time and full-time availabilities. And one of the fun things that's new is your students can apply to up to 15 projects across the entire agency. And we are remaining in a virtual status for this summer and the fall. And we're playing it by ear for the upcoming time. But put my contact info in there if anybody wants to reach out and talk more about those opportunities, but feel free to share that info with your students and friends and colleagues and anyone else that might be interested. Thanks, Gav.
All right, wonderful, Matt. I love Matt's very deep baritone voice. I wish I had a voice like that. All right, a few more announcements before we wrap up. I wanted to give a shout out to High School for Construction, Trades, Engineering, and Architecture, who we affectionately refer to as CTEA. They have become our latest high school to get that approval by Department of Buildings. They are an approved DOB course provider, so congrats on that. And I love, this is the thing, in my years in working with Central, I love when people tell me that stuff can't be done, because when I just got this job, I had a lot of people tell us this can't be done. These are high schools, DOB will never approve us, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, everything can't be done until we get it done. So congrats, CTA. For our electrical schools, just a reminder that tomorrow is the deadline for the New York City Transit Subways Apprenticeship. I know that they have a lot of applications. We were worried earlier this month whether or not a lot of, people, we weren't getting enough applications, but it seems like we've been getting some coming in. But if you have any other electrical student that is interested in applying, remember that the deadline is tomorrow. I don't know if David Mead or anyone from Building Skills is on the call. If you guys are on the call, I can turn it over to you for a couple of minutes if you have any announcements, if you're still around. I don't hear from you. Okay, so just
Oh,
to,
hi, Gav.
yes. Go ahead,
Hi,
Glenn.
Gav. Hey, how you doing? Thank you. Yes. Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Yes, I'm Glenn from Building Skills, and I just want to say thank you, Gav. This was really great. And we do have a lot of job opportunities, even through COVID. A lot of our employers were working on affordable housing, and which was deemed essential. And we do have a lot of construction job available. I deal with subcontractors every day, and they're willing to take students coming out of the CTE schools. That's really what they're looking for. The population has been aging out, and we're really looking to build up the workforce. And we're very excited to be collaborating here with any students that we can get out of the CTE schools that are interested in construction. And if they don't have the 10-hour SST, but they're coming out with the OSHA 30, we can also be instrumental in helping them obtain that so we can get them onto a job site as soon as they hopefully graduate.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Glenn. And there's the construction event happening tomorrow, I believe, at 9:30 a.m. Is that?
Yes. Yes, we're having an event tomorrow. We have a lot of jobs in the Bronx right now. So we're just reaching out to local community partners, and we'd be really happy if any of the CTE partners here today can attend. So we're going to just really go over the job opportunities so you can see in real time what's out there, what's available.
All right, sounds good. And I also have the Zoom link to this event in the chat box as well. So make sure you have your folks, your CTE folks join the meeting tomorrow. And Glenn, I don't know if you guys are still looking for a NYCDOE certified teacher. If you are, I do know that we have Kim and company on the call. If anybody is interested in doing some summer work with building skills, they are looking for a NYCDOE certified instructor. Please feel free to reach out to me or Dave or Glenn, and we can further discuss that opportunity. Okay, so we all have been saying that there is a shortage of skilled trades workers, right? And that's the same case when it comes to our CTE programs. I'm looking for more electrical teachers, more architecture teachers, more engineering teachers. Please send the resumes my way. We have various openings in the 5 boroughs. I suggest that the easiest pathway, obviously, for our teachers know this, but our industry partners may not know this, but the quickest pathway to get into the classroom to teach that subject, whether it's electrical, robotics, architecture, and design, is to have the transitional A license. You can send the resumes my way, and we can discuss the logistics about creating your Teach account and all that other stuff along the way. But anybody, any industry partner, any guest, anybody in your network, if you're interested in joining our CTE community, being a full-time teacher, we have openings in these areas for fall 2021. Send the resumes my way. And also, I don't know if anybody from Metro North Railroad is on this call, but they do have openings also for electricians. We see that electricians are very much in demand. Look up the job ID that you see on the screen. If you go to new.mta.info/careers, look up that job ID. For the folks that you don't want to deal with the whippersnappers in our education system, maybe you just want to stay in industry, feel free to apply for that opening. And make sure you fill out the attendance as well. The attendance link is right there in the chat box. Let me know who you are. Let me know who's attended. Fill that out. And if you have any questions or concerns at any time, you have my email, greed10@schools.nyc.gov. Reach out to me at any time. Are there any other final last-minute questions, announcements? Robert, you need a CTE teacher in what field? In pre-engineering or what?
Correct. Engineering, architecture.
Okay, I have a couple resumes. I'll send you some in the next few minutes.
Super, thank you. Great meeting, by the way.
All right, great. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. All right, any other final thoughts, questions, comments, criticisms, compliments? All right, thank you all for joining us. Wonderful school year. I love what I do because of you all, all right? Not because of anything else. It's because of you. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave the Zoom link open in case anybody wants to exchange contact info. I'm going to hang around if anybody has any questions they have for me, anything you want to chat about.
Before we end, thank you so much, Gab, for your leadership. We really appreciate it. We forget, we complain, but we forget to say thank you and we appreciate you. I think everyone here on this call could say the same thing, right?
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I just want to say, Gav, thank you to another great year. Thank you.
Stephanie.
Hey, Gav, could you repost the attendance link for me, please?
Yep, sure.
Now, Gab, do you think we're going to be doing this again virtually the next school year? Or I think I personally liked it because that meant I was able to attend almost all of them. When sometimes it's in person and it's kind of like, it takes me 40, it'll take me half a day to get to and from. This makes it a little bit easier. I wonder what everybody else thinks on the call.
Yeah, I personally agree. I plan to continue doing them virtually. I don't know if every single meeting is going to be virtual for next school year because the chancellor wants the schools open. There's no more remote work. So maybe I'll be going to an office and then doing the Zoom meetings. I don't really know what the point of that is, but yeah, I do expect the virtual meetings to continue.
It just seems easier. I noticed how many more people were on the calls versus, physical. I think one or two a year maybe, might be nice, but this seems to work, at least for me. I wanted to state that for me, this works really well.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And if I don't speak to you all, have a wonderful summer. I did put my email if any of the partners have any questions about the MTA. I work for MTA headquarters, but if I don't know, I've been here for 30 years, so I could find someone who could answer. Yes. Yes. I have 31 years under my belt.
Wow. That's impressive, Alita. Wow.
Because I do it it's because I'm around all this young excitement here, all the people on this call,
Thank you. You've done so much for the CTE community. Thank you for that. We have a few teachers asking for your email again. If you can just drop
Sure.
it. And also Deborah, you made it. I saw Deborah. It's hard to respond to the request while I'm in the middle, but I'm glad that you were able to join us, Deborah. So Deborah and Alita, two of my most favorite partners from MTA. Thank you, ladies, for everything you do.
Thank you, Gab.
All right, so are you guys gonna log off? I see.
Okay. Well, I had to put in my email because they were asking,
Awesome job, Gav. Always a pleasure.
All right, thanks.
All right, take care.
Email.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Florence. Thank you.
Thank you, Gav.
Yep, thanks, Sam. Good seeing you, man.
Hey, Gav, thank you. Always great job.
Yep, thanks. And Kim, before you go, do you know when the next classes are for NYCDOE? It's in August?
Yeah, so but I mean, if you have the demand, we can hosting that too, say at least, if you can get 5, then we can start right away, on any day.
I don't boats, if you're still there, I don't think you have 5, right? You only need 1 person right now, boat. Because yeah, Kim, we have 1 teacher from Bronx Design that wants it. I don't know if we have any others for the time being.
You may have a few from Westinghouse.
Oh, Westinghouse also. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Kim, I'll send a follow-up email to you and Janice. And Ben Roy, let me know who these folks are that need the certification.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
by
think
tomorrow.
yeah, I think if we can, maybe we can do it like hybrid, like online, some of it, because now we can do testing online too.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, good to be here, Sorry it was late, but it's really good. Always good.
Yep, all good.
Okay.
All right, Kim, we'll talk.
Yeah, take care. Bye.